I hope you have unlimited text messaging by Miss Gar. Chapter 146. Conversation 73. For you, I would. Tony. So, congratulations, Snuggle Bunny. You won the Shield Slash Vendors When Will May and Coulson actually get their shit together betting pool. I will transfer $21,623 into your account. Tony. Yes, it actually happened. I have pictures. It's been the only calming thing that I have found out in the last 24 hours. Me. I'm glad. Although, that much money? Tony. Yes. This thing has been going on since before S.H.I.E.L.D. collapsed. So some of that money came from people who turned out to be Hydra. So enjoy it in good conscience. You were the only one crazy enough to bet that Coulson would need to die a second time before he and May would get it together. Me. Melinda said Phil only almost died when she texted me 2 days ago. Tony. Yeah, of course she texted you. Me. She did, but you didn't. I was worried about the radio silence for the last 2 days. If I didn't hear from you tonight, I was going to text you myself. Tony. I'm talking to you now. Tony. If you get blasted out of this plane of existence, I'm going to count that as dying, and so did the person administering the pool. Platypus was mentally preparing himself for next of kin notifications as soon as he was done dealing with General Fate. Tony. Also, I didn't contact you right away because I kind of passed out from shock. And I'm just getting text privileges back now. Rio is worse than Simmons. Tony. Not because of the president's offer, but on the things like what Leo did to my precious Friday. Although the president's suggestion did cause some heart palpitations. Me. You passed out? Are you okay? Tony. Fine, just a shock to the system. Although I think Rio is probably going to be traveling with me a lot. I got yelled at in Spanish. I have to take better care of my heart and my health. Me. I think that might be good, even if you're okay now. You complain about me getting shot a lot, but you're also constantly in danger, and you have pre-existing conditions. You're also as good about ignoring them as I was before the serum. Now I understand why Mom was always worried. Tony, same fears here. Although the fact that you're not asking me what the shock was makes me feel like you already know, especially because you chatted with the ex-girlfriend. Me. She didn't mention what happened with Friday, although I think your presidential meeting hadn't happened yet. What happened with the president? Tony. After discussing what will probably happen to the senator arrested for treason, kidnapping, and torture that refuses to resign, we talked about renegotiating the accords, as well as the need for creating a version that protects the rights of people with powers and keeps the government from merely seeing them as weapons. No more throwing people in the raft because they won't use their powers like the US government wants them to, when they're not being a risk to themselves or others. He is on board with the modifications. Me. That's good, it's a first step at least. Tony. I also got permission for the Monkey Lover Squad to step up encryption of the Powered Person database. I'm just trying to convince him to suspend people joining the Accords so Skyquake doesn't have to. But that didn't go so well, but she's willing to do it for the greater good. Me. I spoke with her a little. She sent me a picture of Phil and Melinda kissing. She also apologized for what happened last time you guys met. Tony. And she did so again in person after the fainting. And I forgave her, and speaking of forgiveness, the president is willing to pardon you. Me. Under what conditions? Under what circumstances? Tony. After the accords are renegotiated into something you can sign, if you actually do sign on the dotted line, Ellis will pardon you and give the other Secret Avengers a few months probation. Me. If they are going to have probation, then should I have probation? Tony. Yeah, well, you died for your country, so you should get a pardon. You also freed a high-profile captured American citizen 2 months ago, so Ellis is grateful even if Ross was furious. Me. But he doesn't matter anymore. Tony. Not at all. The president is making him resign early, aka Wednesday. Although if it makes you feel better, they might ask you to do more of those Captain America educational videos. Me. I'm fine doing that if you and I could make one together, maybe for LGBTAQ teenagers, so they know that they're not alone, that there are people just like them under the mask saving the world. Tony, totally. I feel like that would be a better way for you to come out publicly than, let's say, a non-consensual sex tape. That's such a Captain America way to do it. Me. That's me. I think I want to stay nomad if I come back. Tony, I do like the sex in your costume. Tony, I mean sexy new costume. You look good in black. Anna is getting used to my voice. I always hate this phase. Me. Who is Anna? Anna Jr. I am the new AI running all Avenger and SI functions. Possibly also the ATCU too if Dr. Stark chooses to accept the position. Tony. Anna, I told you to only refer to me as Dr. Stark when I'm dealing with assholes or members of the board of directors. Me. What position? Tony. You know I have a new AI because Friday had to save Coulson's ass, and that requires her to be a real girl. So now I'm training Anna, who Team Monkey Lover the Princess and Skyquake created for me. She's basically off of Friday, but with some modifications. Me. May explain to that, kind of. Although, why is Friday still an LMD? Tony. So Friday knows pretty much everything about me, including that the state of New York decided that I'm totally unfit to have a child, as well as what happened to my sperm count. So she decided to fix it. And the princess helped. Me. Helped how, exactly? Tony. She made the new body and gave Afia a wonderful new backstory / legal identity as well as a candid citizenship. As far as the US government is concerned, she is a person. She's also planning to attend Midtown to keep an eye on Spidey Sr. and the boy in the chair. Tony. I think she has a crush on the boy in the chair, and now she has a body, and yeah, I'm not going to think about any of that. It's like a weird science remake waiting to happen. Me. Isn't Vision married? Tony. And I have accepted that Wanda is my daughter-in-law, and I am writing her into the will because I kind of killed her family. So she should get something. Tony. She'll probably throw the money over a cliff, but I'll be dead when that happens, so I'd rather her do that than the board. You know I hate the board. Tony. Now I have an heir. They can get fucked. I'm done. Me. Obvia? Tony. And Peter. May doesn't know that yet. Aunt May, that is. I thought about naming Lily as well, but that would be unfair to the other siblings. Instead, they just get trust funds like Wanda. Tony. You do, because, well, I know you don't want to touch SI with a 10-foot pole, and you're better off being in charge of the foundations. Me. So just those two? Tony. No. Leo will be my third heir. Me. Fritz is okay with that. Tony. Obviously you've been informed about that. And yes, he'll be okay with that because he's going to be the fourth. Tony. I knew that I felt like I was dealing with two different people. And I was right! Leo came from the darkest timeline, which is why he needs quality time with Suarez and to consider new job prospects. Trying to save the world is too stressful. Me. I'm aware. Now you can explain why your new AI would be running things at the ATCU if you decide to take the president's offer. What did the president offer you? Tony. I was trying to explain that. I got distracted. You're very distracting. Me. Tony! Tony. Okay, so in exchange for you and the other Avengers getting no jail time for violating the original version of the Accords, all I have to do is agree to be the head of the ATCU until the new Accords are finalized, plus 6 months for the transition, or until the end of the administration, whichever comes first. Tony. I'm hoping it's the latter, because I would really like for us to live in the same country, and I don't want to spend 4 years in charge of an agency and not get you back in the country. Although, maybe I can convince President Ellis to pardon you as he's walking out the door. You guys really saved the U.S. a lot by freeing that American. Me. But you're still willing to take that chance? Tony. I'm seriously considering it, although I am going to have to divest myself from SI. Better than I did for when I was helping with the Department of Damage Control, at least. Me. Is that a good or a bad thing? Tony. I don't know. The board wants me out because of the boyfriend, and I'm so tired of dealing with them. I actually really like spending time in DC and doing more of the Avengers stuff. I also like protecting the kids. I can do that by shaping the ATCU's policies in that regard. I feel like maybe it's time to move on. Me. But you like tinkering. Tony. I would have a whole entire new R&D department. Mandatory playtime with Fitzsimmons. That could be worth it. Me. What would that mean for SI? Tony. I would have to talk to Pepper about that. I trust her to move the company forward, so I don't feel like I'm abandoning everybody. We would have to come up with a succession plan. I have an idea of who could take my place as CCO, and he would be perfect for it. But she is CEO, so we would have to discuss it, but I think she would be on board. Me. You're considering it? Tony. I want you home. A few days in Johannesburg or a couple of days in Malta is not going to do it, because I miss you so much. But not being without you is not an option either. So here I am considering a deal with the president to get you home within the next 4 years. Me. Can I come back even if I can't sign the new version of the Accords? Tony. There won't be a new version that you can't be a party to. More protection of persons with powers, less loopholes for people like Ross to manipulate. Platypus is coming for Christmas in Malta to speak with you and the other Secret Avengers for input. Although I hear you're going to be gaining a few new members by that point. Me. Yes. Me. I only get this deal if you take the job? Tony. Not just you. Everybody. I could eventually find another way to get you home, but this is the best option for everyone else. It's going to allow me to steer the new Accords process and protect the youths with powers. But if you don't want me to do it, I won't. Me. If this is something you want to do, then I think it's probably the best option. But it's up to you. I think you should talk to Pepper at Thanksgiving, since this will affect her. Me. Or can you wait that long to decide? Tony. I have about a week. Although I don't know if my new android child will make me being the head of the ATCU a non-starter. I'm probably going to have to tell the POTUS the truth or some version of it. Tony. Me having a boyfriend would be bad enough for Ellis. He is from the party of family values. And me being a liberal leading independent is a hard enough sell with his party already. I'm just glad this isn't going to need a confirmation hearing. Me. So they're okay with Ultron, but not you having a boyfriend? Tony. The independent thing is also kind of hard for them to deal with. Me. I can see that. Although I feel like other things would be more important. Tony. You would think so. But politicians. Also, Ellis knows the truth about Ultron, and so does most of Congress. Closed-door hearings. Me. Do you want to do this? Tony. Honestly? Me. I always want to know what you're really thinking. Tony. Yes. I don't want another Alexandra Pierce or Gideon Malik ending up in charge. You keep saying that the best hands are our own hands. I'm not entirely sure that I agree with you, but I trust myself more than I trust a lot of other people. Tony. If you were around, it would be easier. Also, if I take the deal while things are being negotiated, you and the team could move into the Malta house. I could come visit every couple of weeks when you're not on missions. Without the subterfuge, we could call each other. Me. We could call each other now. Tony. Yes, but I say less stupid stuff when I write it down. However, I am willing to forego my normal safety net if I can see your face daily. Not just us texting every few days, but we can talk daily. Me. I think you made up your mind. Tony. I am all but 12% committed, but I still need to talk to Pepper. She is coming up late Monday. We're going to meet with the board and others on Tuesday before the SI Thanksgiving break begins. That could push me over. Tony. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to lock me out again, especially if the cover story about my Wakanda love child gets out. I'm meeting with Jane to develop the press release. We're going to try to keep it from going public until after Thanksgiving, but it's going to have to come out eventually. Me. Question mark? Tony. I'm sure you have a lot of those. Afia will be getting the full teenager experience, unlike Vision, who came grown up and ready to avenge. Afia, however, will be coming in complete with legal identity and cover story. I'm still trying to decide how much Jane is going to know, but probably everything because she's Jane, and she probably knew about the original L&D program, but Afia is a completely different category. Me. So, cover story? Tony. I met a scientist from Wakanda 15 years ago at some conference, although I thought she was from Nigeria. I accidentally got her pregnant, but she decided not to tell me, feeling it would be better to raise her daughter in Wakanda, and away from me because I wouldn't become halfway responsible for another 5 years. She died during a recent incident in Wakanda. Now that Wakanda is venturing out into the world, I was notified of my child's existence, and I don't back down from my responsibilities. Me. That's actually a good cover story. Tony. Completely plausible. I did some of my stupidest stuff during 2001, and I totally would have slept with a scientist at a conference. Tony. This is going to be another Pepper conversation. Actually, I better call her in case something gets leaked. You're like the only thing I'm able to keep a secret, and that's mostly because everybody thinks Captain America is straight. Tony. Or that I'm actually with Chris Evans. Me. You're going along with it? Tony. I could totally raise a teenage android. Although Obvious says she is a synthetic Wakanda American. Also, people were terrified of Vision because he's an android. Avia wants to be an Avenger, so maybe it's better if she has a secret identity. Me. Besides, you have always treated her like your kid. Tony. Yes, and at least this one I get to raise. Vision is already out of the house and married. Me. Maybe you'll get grandkids soon. Tony. Which can't happen until I get all of you in the country. I feel like they should not adopt until things are stable, but that's another reason to take the deal. Oh, maybe Red will save the money for the grandkids and not throw it off the cliff. Me. And I really do want to be in the same country as you, and video calls seem like a wonderful idea. Tony. Especially if you are not wearing anything. Me. I feel like that would be too much like a sex tape. Tony. And we don't make those because of TYTY. But shirtless selfies are still okay. Me. I really want to punch that guy out. Tony. Me too, but every time somebody tries to argue that the gay thing is new, or I've been hiding in the closet for decades, I just bring up the sex tape. I mean, it's not my fault that they are biphobic. Me. There are so many people I want to punch! Tony. Unfortunately, you can't punch everybody, or so my therapist says. Tony. So by Thanksgiving, I will sit down with Pepper Pot and discuss my options for taking a break from SI to serve my country and getting me the hell away from the board because my heart and my sobriety demand it. Me. And then Friday, can you text me and let me know what you decide? It's your call. I will support you. Tony. Thank you for that. Me. So where are you right now? Still in DC? Tony. Already back at the New York apartment, which doesn't have kids running through it because they're all at the compound and will be there indefinitely. Rio is watching me like a hawk, even though she doesn't start for like another week. Tony. I did bring Leo and the boyfriend with me. I now know who Football Hunter is. So apparently I was with the older twin at the playoff soccer game when I had my crisis of conscience. He wanted to make sure his younger self didn't screw things up like he did the first time around. Apparently, those original choices led to the distraction of the Earth and the nearing extinction of the human species everywhere. Me. I am still having trouble wrapping my head around all that. Tony. I have been studying time travel theory for decades, and I'm still extremely confused. Tony. But I'm not going to think about that, because I rented out an entire video game plays for the evening, so Spidey Sr. won't have time to remember that his uncle was murdered in front of him this time last year. Me. So that's why you're already back in New York. Tony. Spidey Sr. needs me. And it gives Afia a chance to see how she blends in with teenagers that are not royalty. Actually, the princess is going to be there. She wanted to stay until Friday to experience the American concept of Thanksgiving. But her brother said no. So she's flying back in the morning after the meeting with Jane. Me. Does the king know that his sister created a synthetic Wakanda American child for you? Downey. It hasn't come up. Oh, Afia would like to take your last name as well. Me. I'm flattered, but I assumed that we would have to be publicly together at that point for it to really be a good idea. Tony. And that probably can't happen until after the new Accords. Me. Especially if you become the acting head of the ATCU. Tony. Maybe she can go with Stephanie as a middle name instead. Me. Maybe. I'll talk to you Friday. Have fun tonight. Tony. I'll try, but my medical babysitter probably won't allow it. But I promise to hold off on the fade thing. Me. I'm going to hold you to that.